does this originated?
Either Romans or Greeks.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm from Napua University. I would just like to ask a random question. Where do you think this architectural structure came from, or what do you think influenced it?
I think that structure came from Greek idea.
Or Greek? I would just like to ask you about this architectural design. Where do you think it influences, or where do you think it originated?
I think this building is originated from
The classical Greek art and architecture has left a mark throughout ages and across the world. Greek art is usually divided stylistically into four periods: the geometric age, the archaic period, the classical period, and the Hellenistic period. The geometric age is dated from about 1000 BC, although in reality, little is known about art in Greece during the preceding 200 years, traditionally known as the Greek Dark Ages. The Archaic period is lasting from the 8th century BC to the Second Persian invasion of Greece in 480 BC. And lastly, the Hellenistic period, generally taken to begin with the death of Alexander the Great in 323 BC and end with the conquest of the Greek world by the Romans. To understand how classical Greek style evolved and what makes Greek art so impressive, it is quite helpful to know what is happening in Greece culturally and politically. The contrapposto stands, but most of the figures wait on one leg, turning the torso slightly, making subject seem both dynamic and relaxed. Michelangelo's famous sculpture, David, would incorporate the contrapposto stance years later during the Renaissance. The golden age of art in Greece was the same era when the great philosophers Plato, Socrates, and Aristotle began teaching. The defeat of the Persians around 479 BC left a long-standing mark on the Greek society and civilization. Around 450 BC, Athenian general Pericles began an advertising campaign of sorts to win the favor of the people, hoping that this would bring up tourism to the city and make him and more Athenian way of life more popular than ever. As part of Pericles' campaign, he commissioned the Parthenon, which is dedicated to the goddess Athena, a statue said to be gold and ivory. Other prime examples of classical Greek art. In the early geometric period, ceramic vessels were primarily used in funerary items. These were painted in geometric shapes, and stick figures are common features on these vessels. Later, pottery became more utilitarian and decorative. During the Archaic period, vase painting was an important art form, which involves scratchy incisions to reveal black silhouette designs. Details were painted in red or white. Venus de Milo is one of the ancient Greek sculpture. Initially, it was attributed to the sculptor Praxiteles and was done by Alexandrus of Antioch. The Venus de Milo is widely renowned for the mystery of her missing arm and victory. It is also called the Nike of Samothrace. It is around Hellenistic period that was created about the 2nd century BC. Since 1884, it is said to be as the greatest masterpiece of Hellenistic sculpture, and it is one of the small number of major Hellenistic statues surviving in the original rather than the Roman complex. Sandros appears to have been a wandering artist born in Asia. He was a painter on the contest for most years. The inscriptions date to around 80 BC. He is also best known today for his Venus de Milo and Winged Victory at Louvre Museum, Paris. The Greek art set a foundation for many modern art practices, from our representation of the living figure to the techniques used to cut and paintings. More importantly, its societal emphasis on the art of face and production.
The Greek and Roman art are likely similar to one another. Even to our generations today, many may be confused on what are the distinctions between Greek and Roman art. True, these two aspects of art are difficult to distinguish, but today we shall give you and discuss to you the origin and their distinct characteristics. To begin, we shall go back first and understand the beauty of Greek.
Rome was found far back in the 750 BCE. It led a precarious existence for several centuries. Initially, it was ruled by Etruscan kings who commissioned a variety of Etruscan art like murals, sculptures, and metalwork for their tombs as well as their palaces and to celebrate their military victories. After the founding of the Roman Republic in 500 BCE, Etruscan influence waned, and from 300 BCE, as the Romans started coming into contact with the flourishing Greek cities of southern Italy and the eastern Mediterranean, they fell under the influence of Greek art, a process known as Hellenization. The art of the Roman Empire was heavily influenced by Etruscans. The art of the Roman Empire was heavily influenced by the Etruscans, Rome's predecessors of the Italian mainland, and by the Hellenic influences of the Greeks. The Romans do not directly imitated and copied Greeks' artistic ideas. Greek artists were brought to Rome and relied upon to design and repair monumental buildings. The Greek influence was very predominant in Roman painting and sculpture. Roman painting served mostly a decorative function. It was influenced by the architecture of the time. Roman painting served mostly a decorative function. It was influenced by the architecture of the time. Roman buildings tended to have a small number of doors and windows. Romans refined the technique of painting mosaics and murals and emphasized natural themes such as landscapes and narrative themes. Primary colors used in Roman painting were deep red, yellow, green, violet, and black. The best preserved examples of Roman wall painting are Herculaneum and Pompeii. Greek influence is strongly felt in Roman statues, and, in fact, many Roman statues and sculptures are copies or interpretations of Greek sculptures. However, many Roman sculptures are characterized by the realism. Greek statues tend to idealize the human form. Roman sculptors, on the other hand, presented realistic representations of their subjects with all their flaws. Relief sculptures were created both as decoration and as a tool to record and celebrate an important event. The size of the relief was dependent on the location and purpose for which it was intended. The relief sculpture was either a collection of figures used to represent a sequence of events, or it was intended to represent one significant event or occurrence. Now that we understand the Greek art, now we will proceed in understanding the Roman art. To understand further about the Roman art, we will now show you some of its artworks.
Emperor Domitian was the one who constructed the Ark of Titus. He was the younger brother of Titus and the son of Vespasian, his two predecessors on the throne, and the last member of the Flavian dynasty. During his reign, the authoritarian nature of his rule put him at sharp odds with the Senate. He had a minor and largely ceremonial role during the reigns of his father and brother. As emperor, Domitian strengthened the economy by revaluing the Roman coinage, expanded the border defense of the empire, and initiated a massive building program to restore the damaged city of Rome. The Ark of Titus is a 1st century AD honorific ark, located on the Via Sacra Rome. It was constructed in century AD 82 by the Emperor Domitian shortly after the death of his older brother Titus, to commemorate Titus' victories, including the siege of Jerusalem in AD 70. The ark has provided the general model for many triumphal arches erected since the 16th century. The Alexander mosaic is originally from the House of the Faun in Pompeii. It depicts a battle between the armies of Alexander the Great and Darius III of Persia. The mosaic is believed to be a copy of an early 3rd century BC Hellenistic painting. The mosaic is an unusually detailed work for a private residence and was likely commissioned by a wealthy person or family. The fact that this scene was made to be viewed in the house of a Roman civilian reveals that Alexander the Great was more than just a heroic image to the Romans, because Roman leaders followed after Alexander's image. Roman civilians also aspired to emulate the power he represented. The artist of this mosaic was unknown.